Welcome to the PepTalk Podcast, the show that exists to cheer you on and to coach you up. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and I am a mindset life coach in DFW, dedicated to helping you unleash your full potential. And if you haven't had a pep talk lately, don't worry. This is where you come. We're providing the pep for you, and we're so glad that you're here. Now, today, we have an intriguing topic lined up: how your brain is like Google. We'll delve into the incredible similarities between the human brain and the most popular search engine on the face of the earth, Google. And by understanding these parallels, I think that you can train your mind to achieve your goals and to get what you want out of life. I say I think, but I know. I know it's possible. I know that you'll get there. Now, I want to start by exploring the concept of just how your brain is like Google. Have you ever thought about it though? Just like Google indexes websites and retrieves information, our brains create mental models of the world around us. In fact, when we are faced with a question or a challenge, our brain searches its internal database to find the relevant information, just like entering keywords or search words into Google. But there's a catch. You need to have a clear search query or a goal in mind, and you also have to understand that where you focus your search is where you'll get the responses. For example, for this episode, I conducted two searches. The first search I did was how the internet is trying to kill humanity. Now that sounds ludicrous, but I found scholarly research from scientists and research. I found message boards and data that would support the point that the internet is literally trying to kill humanity. Some of them were weird, some of them had merit, but there were pages and pages and pages of search results, and I went through the different pages and I saw them. Then I searched how the internet is trying to save humanity. And the same thing happens. See, the power of a search engine is that when you give it a direction to focus in, it is like a bloodhound. It searches every nook and cranny of the internet, every web page, every chat room, every database to find anything that remotely resembles an answer to what has been requested. Your mind is the same way. The direction that you send it in is the direction that it will go. If you're constantly telling yourself that you are inconsequential, then your mind will look for evidence and memories and perspectives to prove that you are inconsequential. Inversely, if you are constantly telling yourself that you are powerful, that you have a purpose, your mind will search every nook and cranny of your life, of your experiences, of your memories to prove and sustain that mode of thinking. I said it earlier this season in episode 1, but Tony Robbins always says that what you seek, you will see. So basically, whatever you're looking for, your mind is a tool that is honed to the perfection of finding exactly what you are looking for. Whatever you're trying to find, your mind can find it. So we're going to spend a good deal of time on this episode exploring different mental models in order to figure out how we can best program our mental algorithm to produce the results that we desire. Now, first, let's talk about mental models. All right. These are the frameworks and belief systems that shape how we perceive and interact with the world. They influence our decisions, our behaviors, and ultimately our outcomes. Now, consider mental models kind of like the algorithms that Google uses to rank websites. They help us to make sense of the vast amount of information that we encounter daily. And the more refined and adaptable your mental models are, the better you'll navigate life's challenges. In fact, many successful individuals have used mental models to their advantage. They've harnessed the power of these internal algorithms to achieve greatness. Like growth mindset is a mental algorithm that was explored by Carol Dweck. And I would encourage you to do more research on the topic of growth mindset because it is a mental model that is very, very productive in helping people overcome limiting beliefs. Now, imagine mental models as the lenses through which we view and interpret the world. They're our internal framework. They're like our CPU. They're like the programming that Google uses to work its algorithm, right? So our internal framework, our mental models, are our belief systems and our cognitive shortcuts that shape our understanding of reality. And I've said this before as well, that our mind is looking for ways to be efficient, to use the least amount of energy, right? And so it falls back on these mental models to produce quick results. Now, here's how mental models affect our thought processes and perspectives. They influence our perception. They influence how we perceive situations, people, and events. They filter and they shape the information that we receive, coloring our perspectives, and they influence our initial reactions. Have you ever received good constructive criticism from someone that you don't like, and you weren't able to take in the good things that was said? You just saw the person that you don't like telling you something, and you automatically, your efficient mind took you to that negative place. That's a result of a mental model. They also guide our decision making. They act as templates, and y'all know what templates are. We use Canva, Google Docs are all templates that help make things easier, right? So they provide us with a structured way to analyze and respond to situations. Okay, our mental models determine whether or not we see an opportunity or an obstacle in any given situation and scenario. And they also shape our behavior. Our actions and our behaviors are strongly influenced by our mental models. For instance, if you hold a mental model that emphasizes the importance of continuous learning, you are more likely to continue seeking out knowledge and opportunities for growth. Now, I want to present to you some mental models, and I want you to take notes on these, or pause the episode and pull up your notes so that you have these. And I want you to see which one of these mental models is kind of your default, and also explore whether that default is working for you in the way that you need it to, because you can always change the mental model that you operate from. Just like Google can always go in and change the algorithm to how Google finds searches. When you change your mental model, you are changing your algorithm. And when you change your algorithm, the search results are going to be different. So here's the first one. The map is not the territory. Now, this mental model emphasizes that our mental representations of reality are not actually reality. It encourages humility and open-mindedness by reminding us that our perceptions and beliefs may not always align with what objective truth is. So it encourages us to be open to listening to other perspectives, because our reality, may not be what reality actually is. So the map is not the territory. Then there is the circle of influence versus the circle of concern, which many of you will know are from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, this model distinguishes between the things that we can control, so our circle of influence, and the things that we can't control, which are the circle of concern. So it encourages focusing energy and effort on what's within our control and not freaking out when we encounter situations that we cannot control. Then there's Occam's razor. I love this one. Occam's razor is a scientific principle that says that when faced with multiple explanations for a phenomenon, usually the simplest answer is the correct one. And it's been a great way for many researchers and scientists to parse through a lot of very difficult situations and derive good results. So if you have an Occam's razor mental model operating, then you're looking to parse the simplest answer out of multiple difficult or challenging circumstances. Okay. Then there is the zero-sum thinking versus the win-win thinking. So zero-sum thinking sees resources as finite, meaning that if someone wins, someone else has to lose, versus a win-win mental model that says there are mutually beneficial outcomes where both parties can benefit. I like that one. You like that one? I like that one. I think that everybody can win. I think there are enough resources where everybody can win. Then there's the hedgehog concept. And this is from, I believe, Jim Collins's book, Good to Great. And this model encourages, and this mental model is highly adaptable in business settings. Okay, um, it encourages individuals to find an intersection, a convergence of what they're passionate about, what they can be best at, and what drives their economic engine. It is about finding the convergence where everything in your life meets. And a lot of coaches uh, will coach their clients using this mental model to find what you're passionate about, what you're best at, and what's going to bring the best financial gain. And that's where you will find your purpose or your pathway. And that's called the hedgehog concept. We're looking for a convergence there. Then there's confirmation bias. Okay. Many of you have heard of confirmation bias. And basically, what it tells us is that it reminds us that we tend to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs. We want to be right. So we're looking for the information that's going to confirm how right we are. And if it contradicts that, then we don't want to have anything to do with that. And then finally, there is scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. Scarcity mindset, again, from Stephen Covey, um, relates to one's view of resources. Scarcity mindset says there's not enough, so I've got to get mine, even at the result of other people. While abundance sees opportunities for everybody, which opens your mind up for collaboration and for sharing. Now, these are just a few of many mental models, but my question for you is which one of those mental models um, is you? Which one best describes you? And if you're watching on YouTube, type it in the chat. I'd love to know in the comments which mental model you find yourself subscribing to, and even why. And if you're listening to the podcast on audio, just leave me a message on my social media at _JB Speaks. I would love to hear from you to know which mental model you are right now subscribing to. And also, if after hearing about these, there's anyone that you were more curious about getting information from. So drop that in the comments. Hit me up on social media. I would love to know. Now, again, these mental models are frameworks. It's like the programming for the algorithm that Google uses. They inform our decision making, our problem solving, and they allow individuals to tap into what's great within them in order to produce a desired result. Now, let's discuss how you can use these mental models to achieve greatness, because I believe that there's greatness inside of you. You should believe it too. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Yep, you're nodding your head. I know that you believe it. So, mental models allow us to identify limiting models. So, we start by identifying any limiting mental models that might be holding us back. We have to be able to recognize negative beliefs or thought patterns that hinder our progress. We all have them. Okay, we all have the limiting beliefs that seek to hinder us, but having an understanding of your mental model can help you to overcome those limiting models. Some of you have models that have not been serving you for 20, 10, 30, 40 years. Guess what? It's not too late to shift that. It takes some work, but that's why we have coaches. Wink, wink, like your boy right here, Coach Jay. All right. Mental models also help you to adopt more empowering models. So you replace your limiting models with empowering models. You embrace mental models that align with your goals and your aspirations. For example, if you want to excel in your career, adopt a continuous improvement model, right? That encourages lifelong learning. And then mental models help by applying models strategically. So you identify your mental model, right? Okay. Then you utilize that chosen model in your everyday life, in every circumstance and opportunity that you have an opportunity to. You make decisions, you set goals, you take actions based on these models. Consistent practice will lead to repetition, which allows for less work on the back end as it becomes a much more automatic thing for you. But in the beginning, it will take some work. However, we're not afraid of work, right? Affirmation, I can do hard things. So I can change the way that my mind works, right? To achieve the desired end that I want in my life. I believe that you can do it. So now that we know about these mental models. Okay, I want to talk briefly about setting clear objectives. Now, when we talk about your brain being like Google, if I have something specific that I want to know, I want Google to tell me how to make the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not going to type in the chat in the search bar, Google teach me how to make a sandwich. Google will then tell me how to make every type of sandwich, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich might be buried far back in the search results. It is important. It is so important that you have a clear direction in your mind, that you give your mind a clear direction. Just as Google needs specific keywords, your brain needs clear and specific goals in order to guide its search efforts. Again, your brain, once you give it a direction to go in, your brain is going to look for patterns. Your brain is a bloodhound. It is efficient and it will find exactly what you are telling it to find, provided you are clear in what you're going after. By setting well defined objectives, you give your mind a clear direction and thus it increases your likelihood of success. I know a woman who has talked about how she wakes up daily and she sets her mindset toward gratitude. Her daily objective is to find things to be thankful for. And she told me that as a result, every day she feels herself overwhelmed by how blessed she is. She constantly thinks about memories that are dear to her. She constantly thinks about the good things, the positive things that are happening, and it helps her to better suss through negative things that may happen because she's approaching problems through a lens of gratitude. Another friend told me that as he was trying to discover his lane in business, he woke up and began setting his intention toward finding a profitable business opportunity that aligned with his inner core beliefs and what he believed about life in his heart. And he said that nothing happened at first, but over time, as he continued to wake up and set his intention, he said his mind brought to his attention how he was surrounded by problems that needed to be solved. He found himself surrounded by a networking with people who were in the business space, entrepreneurs who were doing the very same thing that he longed to do. They found their lane. He found himself in the presence of mentors who were giving him great ideas, and he discovered that as he kept doing this and as he kept setting his intention day by day, giving his brain something to focus on, he found the pain point that ultimately led to him starting his business. Again, he woke up with the clear objective. It's like tapping it into the Google search bar. And his mind did the work. He found himself in situations. He remembered things. He was able to see different perspectives. His mind combed through the indexes of his life experiences and his perspectives and found an answer to the problem that he'd given it to search for. Now, again, the entire focus of this episode is getting you to realize how your brain operates like Google. And the key here is that we have to purposely provide our mind with a direction and a clear focus. Greatness is attainable, okay? But you have to check your keywords. You have to check your search terms in order to get the search results, the life results that you want. Now that we understand the importance of training our minds, hopefully you do understand that. Let's dive into some practical techniques that can help you harness the Google-like power of your brain. I want to talk about a couple of things specifically: mindfulness and visualization. So mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware in the moment without judgment. It's like a mental search engine that helps you focus your attention and observe your thoughts, emotions, and sensations. And here's how you can use mindfulness for mind training. Number one, start small. Begin with short mindfulness sessions, like just a few minutes each day to build the habit gradually. Okay? So that involves breath awareness. Pay attention to your breath. Feel the sensation of every inhale and every exhale. And when your mind wanders, just begin to bring your focus back to your breaths. And then thought observation. Watch your thoughts as they arise. As you are being mindful, watch your thoughts as they arise without getting caught up in them. Just notice them. Think of your thoughts as search results. And as you notice them, you're combing through those search results to find what you can use and which ones you need to toss out. Okay? All right. Visualization. So visualization is like creating a mental vision board. You still make vision boards out there? Or a search query for your brain. And here's how you can use visualization for mind training. Number one, define your goal. Okay? Clearly define your goal, and then you're going to create vivid mental images of it. Neuroscience has said, and I want to get this right, that visualization, creating vivid mental images and allowing yourselves to feel the emotions of those images, are really what spurs the mind and the body into change. What have you got to use, right? So you define your goal. It's a clearly defined goal. You create vivid mental images. So, okay, I have a clearly defined goal of not just growing this podcast, but growing a community of people, which we have on Facebook. Please feel free to join. Okay, I have a vision of a podcast that is ranked number one on Apple Podcast rankings. So I close my eyes and I can imagine seeing the PepTalk podcast at the top of the charts. I can imagine the hundreds of thousands of positive reviews of people detailing how the PepTalk podcast has helped them grow and has helped them to achieve greatness and progress along their path. I can imagine logging into the Facebook community and seeing people helping people without me needing to be there to facilitate and to moderate. And it feels really good. It feels really accomplished. And I can imagine the smile on my face and the gratitude in my heart as I'm thinking about this goal. Now, once you've done those two things, you've created the clarity, you've created the mental visual images, you want to repeat this regularly. So I want to wake up every morning and I want to take some time before I start my day to mentally imagine, to visualize what accomplishing the goal feels like, and to feel the emotions, allow them to wash over you. It's cool. It's cool. Now, I want to add something else, but also I want to say that allowing yourself to feel the emotions will help to reinforce the belief in the possibility of success. It's important. The emotions play a role in that. But I also want to throw out there that sometimes it is good to visualize the negative outcome, the things that you really don't want to come. Because I found that I can imagine much worse than what might actually happen in any outcome. For example, if my clear goal is to have a top-ranked podcast, an Apple podcast, negatively, the worst that I can imagine is that I lose every single one of my listeners. That's the worst. Now, the reason that I might choose to visualize the negative is that if anything negative happens, there is no way that it's worse than what I've imagined for myself. I found that human beings can be very negative, very negative. And I think that if you can imagine the most negative thing that you could think of, then I think that makes you better able to handle any other negative things that may happen along your journey. And there will be things, right? There will be things, but it's okay. We'll get through them. Now, these techniques, you can use them separately. You can use them in combination. I think meditation might be another one of them that is really, really good to use. But they improve focus, they enhance your mental clarity, and they help you develop a strong and efficient mindset. That's what we want. And remember, like Google's algorithms, your brain becomes more efficient as you use them. Google learns what you like. TikTok learns what you like. AI learns what you like. Just like all of those things, your mind learns. And it becomes more efficient and more productive with practice and repetition. So to sum it all up, as we get ready to close out this episode, your brain is indeed like Google. With the right mindset and the right strategies, you can search and find the success that you need. So start implementing these strategies in your daily life. And I want to know how your mindset evolves. Again, type it in the comments of the YouTube video at PepTalk Podcast, at JB Speaks on Instagram. Let me know what's happening. Hit me up on TikTok, wherever you see me active, in the Facebook group. I want to know how this episode has affected your mindset and what your steps are moving forward in your journey, in your mental models. But also understand, the journey to unlocking your full potential, it's just begun. It has just begun. You are right at the beginning of it, and your canvas is blank. And what it looks like at the end, it's going to be dependent upon you. And my job as Coach Jay is to cheer you on, to coach you up, but also to present you with the information and the tools that you need to be better. Listen, I'm not holding anything back from you. I'm giving you all of my research. I'm giving you my knowledge. I'm giving it to you for free because I believe in the possibilities of who you were created to be. And I want you to get everything that I have so that you have the knowledge and the tools to implement these things in order to become the best you possible. Now, if you listen to all of this and you want some help navigating, please reach out. I have both group and individual plans that I'd love to work with you more on. However, if you just want to listen to the podcast, that's awesome too. If you want to just join the Facebook group, which will be in the show notes, that's awesome too. What I want in the core of my heart is for you to have the avenues and information to become as great as you want to be, because I know that greatness is in you. So this wraps up episode 3 of season 2 of the Pep Talk Podcast, where we have hopefully cheered you on and coached you up. Hopefully we've been your biggest cheerleader, and this has also been your weekly one-on-one coach. And ultimately, I hope that we've kept it peppy for you and brought some energy into your Monday that you can carry for the rest of the week. Listen, if you're listening now, I would love for you to give the episode a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. Your ratings and reviews are what makes this podcast available. Speaking of algorithms, using different algorithms, Google, Spotify, Apple, so that more people are exposed to the work that we're doing on the Pep Talk Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Glad to have you. Share this video with a friend, with a family member, so that they can also see what you're getting, the value that we're giving you on these weekly episodes of the Pep Talk Podcast. Listen, I love you. I hope that this Monday is going great for you. I hope that you have a great week. And as we say when we close every episode, keep it love, keep it light, and keep it peppy. We'll see you next week on episode 4 of the Pep Talk Podcast. Until then, y'all be blessed and peace be with you. Bye.